In the Garrett gives out about somebody giving out about cold crowds department, Dave Meltzer again.
All right, well, let's just like hit all your points here so we can upload this video and refer to everyone to this video afterwards.
No, I'm going to do it every time. Every single time.
I'm leaning back. Just go off, King.
The continued low response likely indicates a lower purchase rate of the show. The trends of our response and DirecTV numbers in the past have been pretty similar, and if that's the case, the numbers estimates from last week, while accurate for much of the past 18 months, may well be above what the show is doing now. The live crowd was down to 650. This was for the second show of the month of December 10th. And it looked like from lines about 2/3 paper, which indicates very little paid attendance. In addition, anyone with a military ID was allowed in for free. The weather was drizzly, windy, and cold, so that didn't help. My own thoughts, again, this is Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. Watching the show were the same as they've been for a while. They have to get out of the fairgrounds. The people just don't react anymore. This is the thing I hate about this. His next sentence, where he doesn't put two and two together. I was watching ROH, and the difference in the crowd could not have been more notable, so it isn't wrestling fans as a whole, but this crowd. But it is, God, reading Dave Meltzer is the most difficult task in the history of humanity.
You just have to go slow and hope that people can like put it together in their heads.
Yeah, but it's this crowd that's the problem. Granted, the ROH product is far superior, and crowd enthusiasm probably wouldn't hold up if they're running weekly shows in the same location with most people getting in for free. Why are people getting in for free, perhaps? Yes, Liam has just highlighted it in the notes and bolded granted, the ROH product is far superior. The storylines haven't been strong of late, and most of the characters aren't over at all, but there have been good matches almost every week where the crowd just sits there. Even in the match that gets a little heat, wrestlers have described it as like pulling teeth in the struggle to get it. The show always feels like an endless series of run-ins and ref bumps. Of the 7 matches on the show, 6 had outside interference finishes, and all 6 also had either a ref bump or a ref distraction spot leading to the finish. Wow, it's almost like Dave Meltzer came this close, Liam, this close to identifying what the actual problem is and then backed away from it. And then there's also a note from the following week. Crowd, which had been dead for weeks, was really into this match and staying, talking about the Jarrett and Sting match. Liam has added a note to the notes, which I will read verbatim. You book bad shows, the crowd will be bad. Well done, Liam. Well said. You have identified Dave Meltzer's issue here. Nearly 20 years after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, you remember like how the Asylum would rock when really good months of TNA would happen? Hey, you remember there was this little cage match that happened?
Yep.
Not that long ago. And the crowd was really molten for it because it rocked. Yeah. So if you keep doing good things,
wow,
I think the crowd will get behind that and will be loud. But if you do boring things and the shows have a lot of boring and bad booking, the crowd will get sick of it and won't be into it.
That's a shocking and revolutionary thought about pro wrestling.
Yeah, so, need to get out of that impact zone.
I'm going to do this every time, Liam. Every time somebody suggests this, I'm going to shoot it down. Every single time.
We should make the compilation video of every time we make this point.
It'll just be like 8 hours of me going, no, stop blaming crowds for your failure to get your show over. Stop it. And worse, Dave Meltzer doing it is like 100 times worse. Because if the TNA come out and go, it's the crowd's fault, I get it. You're deflecting blame from your own shitty booking. But Dave Meltzer being like, it's the crowd's fault, and then being like, well, the ROH show is far better, and every match on this show has run-ins and ref bumps. Maybe I should put 2 and 2 together there. But no, it's like, oh no, it's the building's fault.
I do love that. It's like, I was watching Ring of Honor and the crowds were going nuts. It must be because they were going to all of these towns where there was 300 to 500 people showing up, and not the fact that the shows were just rocking.
I hate this talking point. I hate it with every fiber of my being. And as I said, every time. I'm going to do it every time. I'm sorry. For the entire history of the show, you're going to have to put up with me doing this every time.
I wish it would, achieve something. I wish we could, change the discourse about it. If you're listening to this, can you please repeat this talking point whenever someone tries to make this point so we can change the zeitgeist and the perception of TNA in these arenas, and not even just TNA in general of wrestling. It's like, it's not the crowds. You can get the crowds back.
Yes, you can quote Liam verbatim. You book bad shows, the crowds will be bad. Quote Liam. Just reply to everybody who does crowd blaming with that exact sentence.
Yeah, and then you can follow it up with the second quote, which I will now cite. You book good shows, the crowd will be good.
Oh, whoa. Interesting.
Yeah. This is nuanced, in-depth pro wrestling discussion right now.
And then you reply with a third tweet after you do that with subscribe to Patreon at tnachat.com.
And then you tag at TNA History Pod.
Yes, and then follow them to get them to 1,000 followers.
And then you go to Red Circle. We have that.
You Spotify, Apple, Google.
Subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah, you can go subscribe to YouTube. We have 207 subscribers on YouTube.
We're chugging along. Send those YouTube clips to people. Good retention rate. That's all we got. We got that. Hey, you like that? Huh? Sponsors?